a kid, my friends showed me something in the woods behind our school, and I still don't know what we actually saw that day. I was around 9 when it happened. The woods behind our school weren't officially off limits, but everyone knew we weren't supposed to go there. That alone made it interesting. It wasn't just curiosity. It was that quiet kind of excitement you only feel as a kid when you know you're doing something you shouldn't. It started like any other dumb idea kids come up with during recess. One of my friends came running over, slightly out of breath, saying, "You need to see this. Right now." There was something in the way he said it that didn't sound like a joke. No smile, no excitement. Just urgency. The kind that makes you move before you even think. So I followed him. A few other kids were already heading toward the fence at the back of the playground. The part where the ground dips a little and teachers can't really see you unless they're looking directly at you. We slipped through the broken section like we'd done 100 times before, but this time felt different. Even back then, I remember thinking this didn't feel like one of our usual stupid adventures. At first, everything felt normal. Leaves crunching under our shoes, that damp smell you only get in shaded woods, the sound of kids whispering like we were doing something way more serious than we actually were. But the deeper we went, the more that normal feeling started to disappear. Then we got deeper in, and that's when things started feeling off. It got quiet. Not no kids talking quiet, the kind of quiet where you suddenly notice there are no birds, no wind, nothing moving at all. Like the woods themselves were just watching. I remember my heart beating way faster than it should have for no reason, and I couldn't explain why. One of the girls stopped walking and said, "Do you hear that?" We all paused. There was nothing, and somehow that was the problem. That kind of silence doesn't feel empty. It feels full. Then someone pointed ahead. There! At first, I didn't see it. Then I did. There was a small clearing we had never really paid attention to before, but somehow it felt like it had always been there. In the middle of it was something arranged. That's the only word I can think of. Sticks, rocks, pieces of old metal, all placed in a circle. Too deliberate to be random. Too messy to look like it belonged there. And right in the center, there was something that didn't match anything else. It looked like a chair. Not a normal one. More like something put together from different parts. Uneven legs, pieces that didn't belong together. Like someone had built it out of whatever they could find. It didn't look old. It didn't look new. It just looked wrong. No one moved closer at first. We just stood there, staring. Like if we moved too fast, it would suddenly make sense. Then one of the boys, trying to act brave, said, "It's probably just older kids messing around," but he didn't sound convinced. None of us were. Because there was one detail none of us could explain. The ground around it was completely clear. No footprints, no dragged marks, nothing that showed how any of it got there. Like it had just appeared. And that's the part that never sat right with me. Because even as a kid, you know when something doesn't follow normal rules. One of my friends whispered, "We shouldn't be here." And for once, nobody argued. And that's when we heard it. A sound from somewhere deeper in the woods. Not loud, but enough to break that silence. It wasn't an animal. At least, it didn't sound like one. It was slower. Like something moving carefully. One step at a time. Not rushing. Not scared. Like it already knew we were there. And for a second, it felt like whatever made that sound was closer than it should have been. None of us said anything after that. We just looked at each other. And then, without anyone needing to say it, we all turned and ran. No one stopped. No one looked back. It didn't feel like running away from something. It felt like escaping something. We didn't even talk about it when we got back to the playground. It was like we all silently agreed to pretend it didn't happen. And that silence between all of us was louder than anything we heard in those woods. The next day, I went back. Not with the group. Just me. I don't even know why. Maybe I thought it would look different in daylight. Less wrong. Or maybe I just needed to prove to myself it was real. But when I got there, the clearing was empty. Completely empty. No sticks, no circle, no chair, just normal ground. Like nothing had ever been there. And that's the part that still doesn't make sense. Because things don't just disappear like that. I stood there for a while, trying to figure out if we had somehow imagined all of it. But I know what I saw. We all do. Because years later, when I ran into one of those kids again, I brought it up casually, like it was just some random childhood memory. I didn't even have to explain. He just looked at me for a second and said, "You remember that too?" And the way he said it, he hadn't forgotten either. And that was the part that stayed with me. Not what we saw, not the sounds, not even that clearing, but the fact that every single one of us remembers it exactly the same way. And somehow, none of us ever went back into those woods again. And even now, thinking about it, it doesn't feel like a memory. It feels like something we were never supposed to see.